What's up, guys? It's time for Edward, our miraculous journey with our favorite China rabbit. We're picking up on chapter 19. All right, we're getting way into this book here, right? So now our boy Jangles, right? His new name, given to him by Sarah Ruth. So that's his new journey he's on now. He's been with Bryce ever since he was rescued from being a scarecrow. Um, and Sarah Ruth and Bryce seem to me like they don't have the best life. Um, Dad seems like he ain't around much or don't care much, and pretty rude considering he slapped Bryce, he broke her old doll, he yelling around. So he's definitely not dealing with stuff very well. It seems like with her sickness. Mom, we still don't know. Is she around? Is she gone? Is she not alive anymore? We don't know anything about Bryce and Sarah Ruth's mom yet. Um, they said she used to dance with Sarah Ruth all the time, but no sign of him yet. So they're chilling. She actually loves Jangles, absolutely cradles him, holds him. Edward is so happy about it. He loves the feeling of it. He said he wants to do more for her. He wants to like take care of her. He wants to be there for her. So he really is loving. You know what I mean? Very. He's starting to really be. Has a full heart. This little rabbit does, right? And of course, the last thing I read on 144. What do you know? Talking about stars again, right? This time it's this falling stars, right? So them three are standing outside together, and Bryce tells her, look at those falling ones. Those are the ones with all the magic. Okay, so that reference to stars over and over and over again. Well, what do you know? They're back looking at stars again. So can't wait to find out what that connection really is. All right, all right. So let's go. All right. And the last thing he said was, and even though it was Sarah Ruth's star, Edward wished on it too. So Edward made a wish, and that was your prediction. Your question actually from last time was, uh, what do you think Edward wished for? Actually, what do you think Sarah Ruth wished for? Hmm. I like reading your responses too. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Here we go. Chapter 19. The days passed. The sun rose and set and rose and set again and again. Sometimes the father came home and sometimes he did not. Edward's ears became soggy and he did not care. Went from her chewing on him all the time. His sweater had almost completely unraveled and it didn't bother him. He was hugged half to death and it felt good. He was in the evenings at the hands of Bryce and at the ends of twine. Edward danced and danced. 1 month passed, and then two, and then three. Sarah Ruth got worse. In the fifth month, she refused to eat, and in the sixth month, she began to cough up blood. Her breathing became ragged and uncertain, as if she was trying to remember, in between breaths, what to do, what breathing was. Breathe, honey. Bryce stood over her and said, breathe, thought Edward from deep inside of his the well of her arms. Please, please breathe. Bryce stopped leaving the house. He sat at home all day and held Sarah Ruth in his lap and rocked her back and forth and sang to her. On a bright morning in September, Sarah Ruth stopped breathing. Oh no, said Bryce. Oh, honey, take a little breath, please. Edward had fallen out of Sarah Ruth's arms the night before, and she had not asked for him again. So, face down on the floor, arms over his head, Edward listened as Bryce wept. He listened as father came home and shouted at Bryce. He listened as the father wept. There's Bryce leaving. It's so sad. You can't cry, Bryce shouted. You got no right to cry. You never even loved her. You don't know nothing about love. I loved her, said the father. I loved her. I loved her too, thought Edward. I loved her and now she's gone. How could this be? He wondered. How could he bear to live in a world without Sarah Ruth? The yelling between the father and the son continued, and then there was a terrible moment when the father insisted that Sarah Ruth belonged to him, that she was his girl, his baby, and that he was taking her to be buried. She ain't yours, Bryce screamed. You can't take her, she ain't yours. But the father was bigger and stronger, and he prevailed. He wrapped Sarah Ruth in a blanket and carried her away. The small house became very quiet. Edward could hear Bryce moving around, muttering to himself. And then, finally, the boy picked up Edward. Come on, Jangles, Bryce said. We're leaving. We're going to Memphis. Guys, I kind of thought it was coming. I didn't know how long he would be with Sarah Ruth and Bryce, but Sarah Ruth's gone. Right? So, really sad. This is, that's not what I was expecting to read here, You want to read 20 also? All right, let's do it. Chapter 20. There's Edward right there. I don't know if I want to read this one yet, guys, or not. All right, let's go ahead and read it. How many dancing rabbits have you seen in your life? Bryce said to Edward. I can tell you how many I've seen. One. You. That's how you and me are going to make some money. I seen it last time I was in Memphis. Folks put on any kind of show right there on the street corner, and people pay them for it. I seen it. The walk to town took all night. Bryce walked without stopping, carrying Edward under one arm and talking to him the whole time. Edward tried to listen, but the terrible scarecrow feeling had come back. The feeling he had when he was hanging by his ears in the old lady's garden. The feeling that nothing mattered, and that nothing would ever matter again. And not only did Edward feel hollow, he ached. Every part of his china body hurt. He ached for Sarah Ruth. He wanted her to hold him. He wanted to dance for her. And he did dance, but it was not for Sarah Ruth. Edward danced for strangers on a dirty street corner in Memphis. Bryce played his harmonica and moved Edward's strings, and Edward bowed and shuffled and swayed, and people stopped to stare and point and laugh. On the ground in front of them was Sarah Ruth's button box. The lid was open to encourage people to drop change inside it. Mama, said a small child, look at that bunny. I want to touch him. He reached out his hand for Edward. No, said the mother. Dirty. She pulled the child back away from Edward. Nasty, she said. A man wearing a hat stopped and stared at Edward and Bryce. It's a sin to dance, he said. And after a long pause, he said, it's a particular sin for rabbits to dance. The man took off his hat and held it over his heart. He stood and watched the boy and the rabbit for a long time. Finally, he put his hat back on his head and walked away. The shadows lengthened. The sun became an orangey, dusty ball low in the sky. Bryce started to cry. Edward saw his tears land on the pavement. But the boy did not stop playing his harmonica. He did not make Edward stop dancing. An old woman leaning on a cane stepped up close to them. She stared at Edward with deep, dark eyes. Pellegrina? Thought the dancing rabbit. She nodded at him. Look at me, he said to her. His arms and legs jerked. Look at me. You got your wish. I have learned how to love, and it's a terrible thing. I am broken. My heart is broken. Help me." The old woman turned and hobbled away. "Come back," thought Edward. "Fix me." Bryce cried harder. He made Edward dance faster. Finally, when the sun was gone and the streets were dark, Bryce stopped playing his harmonica. "I'm done now," he said. He let Edward fall to the pavement. "I ain't gonna cry any more." Bryce wiped his nose with his eyes with the back of his hand. He picked up the button box to look in, and looked inside. "We got us enough money to get something to eat," he said. "Come on, Jangles." All right, that's where we're stopping right now on after chapter 20 there. So he left. They got this little boy, Bryce, literally left and would go to his own, goes to a city, goes to Memphis. Is basically being a street performer here with Edward. Crazy, right? So I don't know. Trying to make some money, trying to get some food, and this old lady hobbling up to him and looking at him. Um, Kind of crazy, right? So is it really Pellegrino? Was it just something he saw that looked like her? Is it really just an old lady? Well, we don't know. But I love this last part, guys, on page 158, saying, look at me. You got your wish. I've learned how to love, and it's terrible. I'm broken. My heart's broken. So he is learning about love, right? But love has positives, and love also has a negative side too, right? Loss is the other side of it. So we'll get back together next time with chapter 21. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you then.